JB here. Friday, July 26th, 2024, 8:56 a.m. Going to be really quick here. Talked a lot of things on the rant yesterday afternoon, went a little longer than normal. I think it was like 18 minutes. So some of the details I'll probably get there, but really quick talk about the market, some of the names I'm looking at, and go from there. But first, talk about yesterday. What a whipsaw the SPY. Well, the S&P opened higher or slightly higher, reverse gains all the way down to 537, and then staged a $10 reversal all the way to 1 o'clock, hitting 547, and then went the other direction a little over $9, especially with that last 30-minute pull from 544 all the way down to 538. Uh, Bumpy. And one of these reversals will hold, and I almost want to see, I wouldn't call it capitulation because the selling has been that crazy, but those are the types of moves where you see the reverse. You would see a sell off and then a big surge at the end, near the end of the day or the afternoon, and that'd be like the capitulation. That'd be the end of this move. So, uh, not the type of action I want to see, but I wouldn't say we're in oversold territory, what have you. So maybe we can find some ground here today. I'm looking at that 541 spot on the SPY is pretty important. If we close over that, then I think we're okay into next week. We have the Fed. There's more earnings. And go from there. And then the glimmers of hopes, right? So the Dow was in the green yesterday; those continue to outperform, and the small caps, including the biotech sector, which I wish it was rallying when the market was rallying for the whole year, but finally starting to show some signs that maybe it's going to outperform into the fall. So all good signs there. IWM 222 is the big spot. IWM futures up 1.25%. You have Nasdaq's up nearly 1%. So, and I also say this, so I like to see that, I wouldn't say like, but sometimes flat opens or even red opens are better than these gap ups, because for some reason I feel like these gap ups get sold, but hopefully not today. So the PC data came out this morning, mostly in line. It's like a mixed bag. Month over month, you start pulling out energy. Month over month, it went up 0.1%, but then year over year, it declined from 2.6 to 2.5. So it's like a mixed bag. I don't think the PC, unless there was some crazy surprise to the upside, I don't think it was going to move markets too much. So hopefully it just kind of keeps the status quo, and we can work on finding a floor here and head higher into next week. So just some of the names, and I put on the watch list 541 on the SPY breaks. I'll probably look for some more hedge puts, some lottos that expire today, and I'll probably look at my favorite names, which I always do, the Lam Research and Broadcom. I thought 865 when Broadcom, whenever I got the puts, was 940? I don't even know what it was, 950. So I got the 875 puts. I was almost kicking myself at the end of the day yesterday when it had that big late day sell off to close at lows. But then it's gapping up here this morning. So maybe another opportunity if there is weakness to play some more spec lottos. So don't be surprised if I grab some on weakness. I hope I don't have to, but that's certainly a possibility. You always got to be prepared have contingency plans, right? Uh, so really quick about iRobot, it's over $13 here in the pre-market. Knock on wood. Tested 1320 here. There's a lot. Typically, iRobot does not have a lot of volume in the pre-market. So to see it have volume here, I don't know if that's a sign that we're going to have some kind of explosion at the open. But 1450 is the key spot. I posted a longer term chart yesterday. I'll post it here in the chat room. But if you take a look, I mean the very big spot here, 1450. So if it gets over that, you pull out that Carlisle debt deal, and I mean the stock would be 30, $40 maybe. And then the more I think about, the more I'm like the fact that the founder and CEO, I have to put all this data together, so I'm going to try and do it this weekend. But the fact that he's leaving and that now they're allowed to pull out that research and development that they were doing on all these crazy things that cost that not only was the staffing an issue, but all the costs that involved in research and development, that I think that weighed. So they pull that all away, and I think it's not that it's going to be a cash cow, but they over $100 million in inventory, so they got to roll through a lot of things. There's issues, but I think the risk reward is still there up here at $13. I think it trades into the 20s if it breaks 1450. If I'm able to get some of my August strikes out to cover costs, I'll do that today. If not, I'll wait till the weekend, go from there. Gold is rallying a little bit this morning, up 1%. Not surprising. If you look at the 50-day on the gold futures, it's 23.73. So it's right here at the 50-day moving average, back above it. For some reason, my Thinkorswim is off $50. I thought for some reason the futures contracts expired, but maybe some chop here today. I wouldn't be surprised to see a green close. It closed green 2 days in a row, and then had the big sell-off yesterday. Then it was sold off 3 days in a row before that. So just some, it's going to be some chop here, but I still think the long-term trend here is to 2,300 bucks, which in turn is why I added some more nugget puts yesterday. What locked the last of my 42 weeklies in for 300%. Similar to gold, it's right at 50-day moving average was 4160. It came all the way down to 4161 yesterday. It's up here at 43 and change this morning. I wouldn't be surprised to see it trade up a little bit, and then I'll continue to hold those puts. Have plenty of time. August strikes. Gilead is up over, well, it was 77 in the pre-market. Now it's at 76, 75. Still have the August 80s. Locked some of those in yesterday for over 100% to cover cost. May look for some higher strikes. There's some gap fills at the start of January. I'm not saying it gets to 84 bucks, but maybe over 80 bucks in the coming weeks. So I'll continue to look for opportunities to play that one. Align Technologies, just disappointing. It was reversing the morning lows, or at least the earning lows, and almost was green after the open. And I thought maybe it was going to have a red to green monster reversal. So I went and got some spec calls. Those didn't play out. The stock chopped around in the 330s for a while before falling at the end of the day to close at 226. It's gapping a little bit in the pre-market here at 229. I wouldn't be surprised to see it trade back in the 540s, if not higher. So don't be surprised if I add some spec calls if the SPY holds 541. Not much here to add on VKTX. Disappointing. It was all the way at 69 in the pre-market. Now back here at 66.56. Closed at 64.68. So still gapping up $2. Added those September strikes yesterday. I'll just continue to hold those. If I do get an opportunity to lock some in to cover costs, I'll do that and just ride the rest. Not going to play games with VKTX right now. And Turn, not much commentary to add on Turn. Who knows? There might be some M&A over the weekend and any of the names in the GLP-1 space. Once that happens, I think all these names, it'll be like a rising tide raises all ships. It will raise all these names. So that's that. We got about 27 minutes to close this morning, to the open, excuse me. This morning, I guess the SEC, Wall Street Journal has a article that Citron Research, Andrew Left is getting, I don't know if it's a civil suit, class actions, or whatever it is against them for like 15 counts of fraud. I guess, you have to read it. It's pretty interesting stuff. It's funny. I remember was it Bill Huang, whatever his name, from China, who had funds and levered all this billions and billions of dollars into some of these names, and one of them was Baidu. And during when it happened, you would be watching these stocks and you'd watch Baidu go nuts every day, and you'd be like, wait a second, why is it? And it would just kept going. This is during COVID, I think it was, or even before COVID. And then a year later, then you read the reports, Bill Hank gets indicted or whatever, and you read that he was so levered on some of these names. It was him causing these crazy moves in Baidu, like total dislocation to the market. It was like crazy stuff. And then similar, and I'm not saying that Citron Research has done some of these things, but he supposedly what happened is you get these funds that are short names, and they want someone to come out with a report and publish it because they know they can move the stocks, right? So that it sounds like that's what he's done. He denied it. And it's when you have a conflict of interest and you're being compensated to promote or bash a stock, that's something you should disclose. So if he didn't disclose it, that's a clear violation of regulations, right? So he's guilty on that already if they can prove that. And then there's other issues. But geez, how many stocks over the years? And I remember, Roku was in the 20s. I was in the calls. It goes up to 40 or 50. Then he's on CNBC arguing with the Needham analyst, Laura, I forget what her last name is. She was the Uber bull on Roku back in the day when it was just in the early stages of really taking off. And he'd go on there and bash it, and Roku would sell off, and I'd be so mad. And now you see he was probably, So anyway, they talk about NVIDIA. I mean, he was negative on Shopify. I remember he said, "Oh, I'm going to donate $1 million to this charity if Shopify goes over 200 bucks," and that was many splits ago. So everybody's wrong or right. It's not about, everybody gets things wrong. It's just, I guess, doing things the right way. And so that's it. That's my rant. We have about 24 minutes to the open. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on the audio later. Last but not least, wait. WW International, excuse me, was downgraded by Morgan Stanley this morning. It's like comical. It's like right at the lows. Like it closed at $1.32 yesterday. They had a 650 price target. They downgraded it from buy to neutral. Let's see. Let me see. They downgraded from overweight to equal weight and dropped the price target from 650 to 125. So wow. I mean, you're already wrong $5. Just lower your price target. So this to me might mark the bottom for WW, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally today. Just it's just like comical. Back when it was running from a dollar all the way up to 10, $11, all these analysts were playing catch up. They still had neutral ratings. They would up their price target. And then finally, all of them got on the bandwagon. I think Goldman Sachs had it at $15, and that was almost like the top for WW. So maybe this is the bottom for WW. That's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.